Hi, 7 days ago I had a microdiscectomy for an L5 S1. And like many people, when you're confronted with having a back surgery, you get as much information as possible to make sure you're making a correct decision. And since I've been dealing with this for almost 2 months now, I feel like I've learned a few things that may be of use to other people. So I thought I'd take a moment to share that with you. First of all, my outbreak of sciatica pain was related to, I believe, carrying a lot of weight. I was carrying 80-pound bags of concrete, doing other construction materials, and a few days after that, I had just a sciatica outbreak. Went to a doctor, a GP, who did an X-ray, showed that I had a 30% stenosis, as well as the sciatic nerve being inflamed from a herniated disc. So I was referred to a surgeon who wanted to do a conservative treatment. Did not really give me much information other than just go by whatever pain you have, try to walk, and just continue to consult with him as needed. Unfortunately, my sciatica got extraordinarily worse, I think, because I was using information again I gleaned from the internet telling me to do mild exercises, which I attempted, and that really just made it inexorably awful. For a period, for a few 3-4 days before surgery, I actually was incapable of almost moving. Just going 20 feet to the bathroom was intensely painful, and I lost all function pretty much to self any ability to take care of myself. So surgery was necessary. I think after a month of being in complete pain and not getting any remedy through any just walking or any other aspects that was recommended to me, I really wish I had done the surgery earlier. The one thing I will say about the surgeon, he's an excellent surgeon. I live near the Houston Medical Center. I think I went to one of the best surgeons in town, and after my surgery that day, I was after waking up from general anesthesia, I just had a mild pain from where the incision was, but I actually had no sciatic pain whatsoever. And after 3 or 4 days, I still had mild incision pain from the incision area, but actually no sciatic pain whatsoever. And now I can walk up to 2-3 miles a day. I really feel no pain whatsoever. Just just the limitations that the doctor has prescribed for me. I will say that you need to be firm with your doctor because they are very. I went to a GP, 2 or 3 meetings with surgeons, and the amount of information they provide you is really limited. You have to demand it, and so you have to be firm and require that, because otherwise you're going to make a mistake and maybe make your disability more severe, which I think I ended up doing, or you're going to wait a month in pain without having any addressing the root causes. A few things that I think were useful as far as when you have this debilitating sciatic pain, and also on the recovery aspect of it, is you're going to need some kind of grabbing mechanism. This is something my wife had in her kitchen utensils, and I bought this item on Amazon. Again, it's something you can use. Since you're not allowed to bend down and pick anything up, it's imperative that you have something that can get something off the floor. That can, if you drop something, you can retrieve it. If you're going to the refrigerator and you're getting something on a lower shelf, you can actually access it without bending your back and, aggravating the sciatic disability. Another thing that's worthwhile too, if I didn't want my wife sitting around waiting on me, while I'm just recovery. So she was at work, and I had to deal with, my own food. Taking care of myself. I found that 2 things are very important. Also, going to doctor's appointments, etc. I found that Uber or Lyft is imperative. I could not sit down, but I could lie down in the back seat of an Uber or Lyft vehicle and go to my appointment. Likewise, it was difficult to prepare food for a long period of time, and when you're in incredible agony, it's difficult to get the desire to prepare a meal. And I was able to get good nutritious meals by Uber Eats or Grubhub or whatever. So that dealt with that issue. It's also, you should have a lot of water, because your herniated disc requires water to aid in recovery. So you have to have a lot of water that's accessible, delivered or whatever, where you can drink it regularly. I have to say that I'm delighted I had the surgery. I've had no negative repercussions. I think I go in another 4 or 5 days to get a post-op review, and I expect I'm going to be on target for where I should be. Although I didn't realize that the full recovery period could be up to 6 months. I read online that people 4 to 6 weeks. Oftentimes people would go back to work and have some regain a lot of the ability to be active that they had beforehand. And from what I've read now, I'm not really sure that's the case. I will say that before this occurred, I was a very active person. I played tennis, I jogged, I was just active physically, and that the loss of that activity is debilitating as the pain. It's really horrible. And so I really want to, as quickly as possible, re-strengthen myself, get my core muscles together, which is supposed to help avoid the recurrence of a herniated disc in the future, which I hear is a very big possibility if you don't take the amount of time and do the strengthening exercises that are required. So it's important to get that information before a priori you do anything. It's also debilitating in America, at least, not to be able to drive. You don't have the energy. You don't have the ability to interact well. You can't invite your friends over to visit you while you're lying in bed in agony. So keep that in mind too, and allow enough time, both work-wise and support-wise, to to be able to have a full recovery period. From what I understand, and I'll know more later, this is not something you can really rush. You have to do all the due diligence to make it an effective recovery. I guess that's really all I have to offer at this point. Like I say, I just wish I had done this earlier. I'm 2 months now from when the sciatic pain occurred, and I'm only a week into my recovery period. Whereas if I had done it earlier, which of course the doctors aren't going to want to do because they want to do less aggressive and non-invasive techniques to try those out first. But still, I don't see any negative aspects to the surgery. It's a tremendous success rate, and you can actually start the recovery after surgery. Whereas if you're in a tenuous period between doctor's visits for a week or a month or whatever, you're just in limbo, and that's as debilitating as anything you're going to deal with pain-wise as well. Anyway, I hope this is of use to some people, and my compassion goes to you if you're going through this. Hopefully I'll have a positive experience 3 or 6 months out to share with you again. Take care.